Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam. We are live. This is United Daily, and of course, this is the place where you get your latest Manchester United news, headlines, transfer rumours, and all that good stuff. Obviously, the transfer window is now closed, so we don't have as many transfer rumours as we have been doing on these shows over the last couple of weeks and months, but there's still a few that will creep in. And we are talking mainly today about Project Big, what's it called? Big Restart, Big Idea, Project Big Picture. That's the one from the Premier League and some of the bigger clubs in the Premier League and the proposals they have made, which would see some financial support going to the EFL clubs and those in the EFL, but in exchange for some power and some big power as well. And it looks like a huge power grab by some of those bigger clubs in the Premier League, the Manchester Uniteds, Liverpools, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, etc. Those teams are engaging in what looks like a power grab with the Premier League and with the EFL and the FA at this moment in time. It looks unlikely to happen. Doesn't look like it's got the full support, and it would need the support of the FA, which I don't believe that it has. But we will be looking at that kind of rumour in relation to the Premier League clubs and the bigger Premier League clubs trying to get this go ahead. We've seen them in the past try and get more TV money for the bigger clubs, and this looks like that, which would give them more voting rights and that kind of thing, which are important when it comes down to discussing things like I don't know, from TV deals and the amount of TV deals and the distribution of the money from the TV deals, but also down to voting on whether we should have stopped the season or null avoided the season, those kind of things as well. Also, it would give the power to those clubs to also reject any potential takeovers of Premier League clubs if they weren't happy with them. So it's an interesting power grab that they're going for. But we'll be looking at those proposals in Project Big Picture, as well as looking at the reports that Juan Mata has rejected a move to Saudi Arabia in what would have been a huge transfer, well, not a transfer fee, but salary for Juan Mata. We'll also be looking at United possibly eyeing a swoop for Camavinga, and Romero potentially leaving United for the MLS, which has been reported before, but we'll look into those rumours again and we'll hear about why his move to Everton fell through. So that's what we'll be discussing here on United Daily Live today. The Premier League big clubs in their power grab in Project Big Picture, and of course Juan Mata, Sergio Romero and Camavinga as well. And we've also seen Facundo Pellistri for the first time in a United shirt today as well. He's in the UK now, and he'll be joining up with the team soon, I'm sure. So we've also got news on Cavani, and obviously we're without Martial for that game against Newcastle, but we've got news on whether he will be available or not. And I'll tell you now, it's not positive news, so don't get yourselves excited. But before we get stuck into all of that news and all that transfer rumours, we will have a look at an on this day, and we've got an on this day from 1895. How many years ago is that? 125 years ago, an awfully long time ago. And what we see here is on the 12th of October 1895, it was a Saturday, Newton Heath, that's what we were known as then, suffered their biggest Football League second division defeat when going down 7-1 to a club which had become an arch rival in Liverpool. Joe Cassidy scored the Heathens' consolation goal at Anfield in front of 7,000 spectators. Cassidy would eventually go on to become United's top goal scorer that season with 16 goals. But United on this day in 1895 losing 7-1 at Anfield to Liverpool in the Football League second division. Not a great on this day at all, but there you go. And I suppose it puts that defeat against Spurs, which I can't quite get my head around still, into perspective, doesn't it? These kind of defeats have happened before. It's how you react from them. Now, United didn't react from the Crystal Palace defeat, which was a big problem. But we've got that game against Newcastle on Saturday. Huge game for Manchester United. We have to win it. No if, buts or maybes. We have to win that game. We've got an incredible run of fixtures coming up. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the pressure is on him. We know what's going to happen. The talk about Pochettino is already floating about. And if he doesn't have a good run in these next couple of fixtures, the Wolves are going to be out for him, unfortunately. That's just the way football is, especially at a club like Manchester United. So we need to be winning this game on the weekend. I'm scheduled to be on the kickoff as well with True Geordie, Laz, Hugh and Rory. So make sure you're checking that out as well. But let's get stuck into this news. In regards to the project big picture and these proposals by the Premier League big clubs. And these clubs, like I said, involve the likes of Manchester United, with the big six, so Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. I don't know how Spurs have squeezed themselves into a big six, and Arsenal. Arguably, Spurs aren't any bigger than Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest. Why aren't Aston Villa in the big six? They've won a European Cup. Where's your European trophy, Spurs? But there we go. They are the big six, or the big six. Plus Everton, West Ham and Southampton. So these clubs are granted special status based on the fact they've never been relegated. They've been the constants in this Premier League. 6 of 9 votes would be enough to pass any proposals. So basically, whatever the big six wants, they will get. So their votes now, at the moment, voting rights are 1 vote per club. Now, if 6 of those 9 special status clubs decide that they want to do something, then that is going to happen. That could be down to the way that the TV money is divvied up, the way the season goes ahead, how many fixtures, how many teams, all these kind of things. And in the project big picture, these are some of the key points. The Premier League would be cut to 18 teams. At the moment, it's 20 teams. So you'd see your team then playing 34 games in the season, rather than the traditional 38 game season that we see at the moment. £250 million would immediately go to the Football League by way of a bailout. Now you hear a lot of clubs in the EFL and in the Football League are suffering at the moment. Obviously, lack of gates, which is gate receipts are huge for those kind of clubs. They don't have massive amounts of TV money. They didn't have a lot of these divisions got cancelled. So you look at these clubs, they need financial support at this moment. And it looks like in exchange for that financial support, these clubs want a bigger say and more power. So it's a little bit of a weighing up in it. Do you want the money now and give up power? Or do you just say, no, we don't want it? The League Cup and the Community Shield would be scrapped. So it'd just be the Premier League and the FA Cup. So the League Cup and the Community Shield would be scrapped. Parachute payments would be stopped. So at the moment, if you're a club that's relegated, you still get Premier League money. It drops down as you go through, but you get Premier League money for, I think it's like 3 or 5 years after you've gone down, to help you, because obviously when you go up to the Premier League, your overheads change, your wages change. So in order to keep up with that loss of revenue that you'll experience from the loss of TV money and everything, you get a parachute payment. So what they'd be saying would, those parachute payments would disappear. And then 25% of the Premier League's annual income would go to the EFL. So is that, I don't know how much that 25% is. I imagine when you're looking at £1 billion deals and TV deals, which are incredible amounts, 25% is an awful lot. But the parachute payments would stop and 25% would go to the EFL. So 25% of the annual income. There'd also be £100 million gift for the FA to invest in the things like, grassroots football, women's football, things like that. Or to give themselves bonuses, which they usually do. Promotion playoffs. So if you're looking to get promoted from the Championship, promotion playoffs would also include the 16th place side in the Premier League. So 17th and 18th would go down. One team would come up from there, and then you'd also have the playoffs as well. EPL and Championship clubs could show in-match highlights on their own digital platforms, align the financial fair play rules with UEFA, start the season later, and pre-season friendlies would be extended, obviously, as a result of starting the season later. So these are some of the proposals from these bigger clubs in the Premier League. In order for this £250 million to the EFL, they're saying we want bigger voting rights, we want no parachute payments, we'll give you 25% of our annual income, and we want to reduce the league to 18 teams, we want to change the way the promotions worked, we want to do all these things, you lot will be our bitches. Now, even though Manchester United are, a team that would probably benefit from that deal, I would be totally against this kind of move. Totally against it. I don't want to see United, I don't want to see the Premier League go this way, really. Obviously, I don't think there's a problem with a 20 league Premier League. 3 going down, 3 coming. I don't have a problem with that. I think the Championship's one of the best leagues in the world for a reason, entertainment-wise. And I don't think anything needs to be changed. I like the way that, the TV money is so big. It's shared around quite well. And because it's shared around quite well, you're seeing teams become more competitive. Also, bigger clubs can just veto ownership takeovers and things. That's a little bit weird as well. So you're then almost preventing any possible competition. So I feel like this is a move that should be rejected. And when you look at a lot of the reaction to it online, and when you look at the reaction to it from the FA, it looks like this one isn't going to happen. The FA are against the proposals. Premier League clubs have serious concerns, we hear. This was reported by Sky Sports today at 8:30 p.m. They said the FA is understood to be against the Project Big Picture proposals, which would reshape professional football in England, while Premier League clubs are said to have serious concerns. The proposals drawn up by the Liverpool's owners and backed by Manchester United were revealed on Sunday and will change the voting structure of the Premier League as well as funding models for the EFL and the FA. The proposed changes will put the majority of power into the hands of the biggest clubs and in the Premier League's current one club, one vote system. This power shift is understood to be opposed by the FA, which has the power to veto any fundamental changes to the Premier League thanks to the golden share it was given when the league was created. The headlines from Project Big Picture, as we said, reduced from 20 teams to 18 teams, 2 sides relegated and replaced by 2 top championship teams. 16th place Premier League club enters playoff with 3rd, 4th and 5th place championship teams. EFL Cup Community Shield abolished. Special status for those 9 longest serving Premier League clubs. 250 million immediately to the EFL. 8.5% of annual Premier League revenue to go on operating costs. 25% of remaining revenue to go to the EFL. Parachute payments scrapped. 100 million immediate payment to the FA to cover lost revenue and to develop non-league women's and grassroots football. So it looks like the FA will reject these proposals anyway. But it shows you just exactly where some of these big teams and their heads lie. We've seen in the past that they've tried to grab bigger shares of the TV money because they feel like they have a right to that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see from this the model of the way the Premier League TV money is done. Maybe in the future, maybe they'll look to try and go to a Premier League subscription service, worldwide subscription service, which I think could prove pretty powerful for the Premier League if they were to do that. Or, various other means where the TV deals could be done. Clubs could try and take their own rights for the TV money. I'm sure someone like Manchester United would love to do that. But again, when you've got one club, one vote system, these kind of things can be prevented. And it's fair in the interest of competition, in the interest of the game, in the interest of English football. I think it's fair to prevent the people like Liverpool, Manchester United and these bigger clubs taking power. Because remember as well, whilst we are Manchester United fans, it's not like we get that power. And even if, it's not fair, but it's going to the likes of Ed Woodward and the Glazers and Liverpool's owners. That's where the power's going to. Do we want to be giving more power to these people that have already commercialised the game to the nth degree. They've already, sucked as much money as possible out of it. Is this a move to just potentially give them more power to be able to do that? And I think it is. So we need to stop that from happening, for sure. And I'm glad that the FA is against it, and I hope they stay against it, and I hope the other Premier League clubs stay against it as well. I believe it's in the interest of the sport, in the interest of the game, in the interest of the Premier League, for those clubs and the other clubs to reject it, and for the FA to reject it as well. As 22 says, project load of bollocks. Our board should have capitalised this window. Utter failure, says Prince. The board has failed every manager they've had, and Pochettino, Nagelsmann will be no different, says Darcy. Big picture proposal totally seems like something the Glazers would have engineered originally, says Ryan. I imagine it was something that was discussed before the proposals were put together. Although Liverpool's owners are believed to have put these proposals together, I fully believe that would have been with, the... Oh, what have we done here? I've done that again, didn't I? At least I clocked it this time. I went to refresh something else and then don't do that again. But yeah, don't give them any power at all. Don't give over the power to them. Don't do it. Vishal says no Igalo as a starter on Saturday. In relation to team news on Saturday, it looks like obviously United are without Anthony Martial, who's suspended for that game, but it's looking like we'll also be without Edinson Cavani. He obviously has to quarantine. Don't think he's fully match fit anyway, but he will be unavailable for that game against Newcastle. Juan Mata has rejected a transfer to Saudi Arabia. It was an unknown club or an unnamed club that would come in with a move, offering him a 20 million deal to join their club, and it's believed that Juan Mata rejected that transfer with a decision to stay at Manchester United, and I'm quite glad that Juan Mata has done that. He's a player that we can trust in the team. I don't think he starts every single game. He's behind Bruno and the like in the pecking order, but I like Juan Mata, and I believe he's someone that can be a massive influence in the dressing room, massive influence off the pitch, on the pitch. I truly believe that with Juan Mata, so I'd keep him at least until next summer. I don't think there's any rush to be getting him out the door. There's maybe one or two that I'd let go of before I'd let go of Juan Mata. But there you go. Excellent Mata the Magician, says David in the comments. Russ says I'd play a 3-5-2 against Newcastle. And we will be discussing the Newcastle game later on in the week as well. So make sure you're keeping it locked for all of that stuff. Now today in Spain, now I imagine Spain and Spanish reports are gearing up for Real Madrid to Paul Pogba to Real Madrid talks for next summer. It's looking like that one's unlikely actually, because of the fact that Real Madrid seemingly are targeting the likes of Mbappe and other players. But Paul Pogba has been linked with a move to Real Madrid. And in those reports, AS report that Manchester United via Sport Witness could be targeting Camavinga as a replacement for Paul Pogba. Now, we don't really want to go into it, but interesting. Camavinga is obviously a very highly rated player, a very talented player. Still got a lot to do, still got a lot to work on, but he's a player with a bright future. And any club like Manchester United should be in the market for those kind of players. And if, we thought Paul Pogba was probably going to leave this summer, it looks like he's going to sign a new deal and stay at United for the next couple of years at least. But if Paul Pogba was to leave, that's the kind of player we want to see Manchester United targeting. That is for sure. Ross says keep Mata as a squad player. Shame his pace is gone. United just can't live with the rest of the league without waiting to order clubs around. Greenwood at 9, says 22. You want to see Greenwood at 9 against Newcastle as well. Sergio Romero continues to be linked with the move away from Manchester United despite the transfer window closing. It's believed that his move to Everton fell through because they only wanted a loan. United wanted £8 million for him. Everton only offered a loan. And on deadline day, they offered to cover his entire wages and a £2 million loan fee. United rejected. They wanted £8 million. And Romero was annoyed at the decision and feels he should have been allowed to leave. This was from The Athletic. Now, I've seen some United fans agreeing with that. And whilst I think we should have sold him or got rid of him, I don't think we should have just given him to Everton, especially in that kind of deal. £2 million. Yes, they pay his wages, but you know, we're possibly strengthening a team that could be battling with us for top 4 spots at some point in the season. And I don't think United should be in the business of doing that. The Athletic said in their report there were suspicions that United didn't want to send Sergio Romero to Everton as they didn't want to strengthen a team who have started the Premier League season with 4 wins in 4 games. Sergio Romero could still leave to the MLS with their transfer window open until October 29th. A number of MLS clubs are understood to be interested in Sergio Romero. We've got a little bit on Amad Diallo Traore as well. The Atalanta president, Antonio Pacassi, and this is via United report, said the negotiations for Amad Diallo lasted almost a year, and you can feel how they work, how they manage enormous dimensions. Now, I don't know if that was part of the deal for Atlanta's president to praise Manchester United in that deal, for Ed Woodward to get a little bit of brownie points. But it looks like United were working on that one for a while. And I said it, I think United's recruitment of younger players hasn't been too bad in the last couple of, the last year or so. And I believe we had lined up Facundo Pellistri, we had lined up Amad Diallo Traore, and they were signings that we were probably going to make anyway. And because we had done no business, serious business, we decided to push those moves forward. So it looked like we had a flurry of business in the transfer window, so they could point out to those deals. Because if those deals come after the transfer window as young players set to join in January, I don't think anybody really cares about that. They just see it as another youth signing. When it comes on deadline day, people sit up and look at it. Now I'm excited to see those 2 players playing for Manchester United. Obviously, Amad Diallo comes in January. Facundo Pellistri is already in England. They'll be teaming up with the team soon and linking up with the team soon. But I'm looking forward to seeing both of them in the United shirt, and I hope they do well. Low expectations, big potential. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. But yeah, that's the news for today, guys. Apart from the project big picture, not got much to talk about, but I'm sure everything will get a lot busier as the week goes on and the game gets closer. We'll have the preview coming up for you this week as well. We'll have loads of other stuff coming up for you. United Daily Live every single day too. So make sure you are keeping it locked for that. Make sure you're hitting that like button and you're subscribing as well. We're very, very close to 90,000 subscribers. Once we hit that, we're well and truly in sights of 100k. So if you're not subscribed, get hitting that subscribe button. Like, comment, share. If you've missed most of the show because you're watching live and you tuned in late, you can rewind it and go and check out what you've missed out. But thank you for tuning in. Make sure you keep it locked. For now, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.